Once more. Hello, KZOOMers. So what a special time that we get to come together in prayer. And first I want to say just that this moment, just to acknowledge, some of the anxiety of being just a few days before this election, and sometimes sort of being sort of pulled into that field of anxiety. It feels like ever more important to be able to dive into our spiritual practice, to sort of rise above the hurricane, to be in the larger field, looking down at the at the tumults. So really an important time for us to gather. I want to say it's also an important time to gather because it's a few hours from the new moon, which is tomorrow morning. And to me, it's always such a potent time right before the new moon, because it's like we are entering into kind of a place of the void to be recreated for the Shekhinah, who kind of has the moon as her symbol, to come back in a form that is even more accessible to us, and in the image of our dreams, of our visions. So this is it really is a time of that dark time. Is a time, it's called Yom Kippur Katan, the little Yom Kippur that happens right before the new moon, is a time for us to dream and to be able to enter into the pregnant darkness, so that when so that we can birth the divine presence into the world, which really needs it right now. And when I say also that this time is, the roots of Halloween. Halloween is not just about gore and candy. The roots of this time is that is the holiday, the ancient holiday of Samhain, that really acknowledges how thin the veils are between dimensions, between worlds. And when we can tune in to that kind of the accessibility of other dimensions, then we can maybe call upon some help from those different realms. And we have a custom of setting the table and having a place setting for the people who have gone on, and acknowledging their presence within us, in our lives, in our hearts, and really being in a place of gratefulness and receptivity to the blessings that we have received from those who have died. And so we want to kind of like call them in.
Good.
What was it? Call them in and feel like we are, that is a place of we as we can access their presence and ask for their help, really, which I think I kind of need. Oh, Susan and Wendy's 40, when did we say 49th anniversary of being together.
Wow.
Yay.
Mazel
Yay.
tov.
Yay.
49.
Yeah. So, so let's just tune into the holiness of this moment. And, I see we have other Jewishes here to acknowledge that there's magic in the air. And the Song of Songs kind of guides us into that place of enthusiasm, of like, go for it kind of feeling. It says, take me with you, let us run together. The king has brought me to his chambers. Let us delight and rejoice in your love, enjoying each caress more than wine. They are right to love you so. So I want to take that sense of enthusiasm and pour it into our practice. Aldous Huxley famously said, the secret of genius is to carry the spirit of the child into old age, which means never losing your enthusiasm. So I want to take that enthusiasm and pour it into my practice. And there's a way that the practice of chant calls forth this energy from me of enthusiasm, of intention, and really what I think about this, what this week's Song of Songs Parsha is about, hearing the call and responding to it with a sense of willingness, just being willing to step forth in response to that call. We are each called to love. And it takes some like holy will to step forth. And the wonderful thing about chant is every time the chant comes around, I can say, oh, what more do I have to give? And I can pour myself into that with more enthusiasm and more presence. So let's run together here.
Moshchayni acharecha narutzah. 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 Moshchayni acharecha Moshchayni acharecha narutzah. 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 Moshchayni acharecha narutzah.
Once more.
Moshchayni acharecha narutzah. 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 Moshchayni acharecha
And just breathe into that willingness. That's parts of you that want to run, go for it. Take that journey. So, when I was young, and I sort of, Judaism kind of at some point kind of lost its power for me. It felt like we were reading things, we were talking about things, but what I wanted was like immediate, direct experience, and I found that in with my Sufi teacher, and I just talked to the wife of my Sufi teacher, whose name is Sherry Anderson, and she said to me something I didn't know. So I took a workshop with her in Berkeley, California, and she said to me there were the guides all over the ceiling of the room were saying to her that this shefa person needed to become a rabbi. But she didn't think that I would
go for it.
That I would go for it. And so she said to me, instead, she said, I think you need to meet my husband. His name was Paul Ray, and he became my Sufi teacher. And I sort of gave myself to this experience where he opened up this experience of like direct experience of God to me. And at some point, months later, he said, you need to become a rabbi. And at that point, I was still a little bit like, what? I'm having such a great God experience here. You're going to send me back into all of those texts of Judaism, and but I never knew that until today that Sherry had said that. Yes, that she had that. And so that sense of encountering, I wanted to do this practice that's called encountering the living God, which means not settling for anything less than the living God, than direct experience. Not saying like, oh, I can just talk about things. No, to have that direct experience, and I was thinking about how that direct experience happens, and I found that just wanted to come back to this teaching by Henry Nouwen, that he says worship to me is constantly to say yes to God's love, to say, Lord, I love you too, because you're beautiful and you are great. I love you too. That signals a change of heart. The moments we call worship are basically nothing else but moments in which we remind ourselves what our lives are about, moments which we articulate in a particular way the essence of our existence, to really get to the essence. And so the idea is that when you experience some little moment of holiness or beauty, that you turn and are in relationship with that. And you say, oh, I love you too. Because in a way, we're receiving God's love through this world, but it's up to us to make it into, a conversation, an interchange, a way to, an encounter with the living God, and not just something, that is dead, that are old. So Psalm 42 says, just connects with like this place in our soul that longs for, that thirsts for, for God, for direct encounter with, I think this essence of our existence, that gets covered over, but to be able to say, oh no, I want to have that essence revealed to me in each moment of my life. I want that living God, and not the God of my ancestors, not the God of yesterday. There's a teacher, Joel Goldsmith, that would always say, "Don't settle for yesterday's manna." There's something happening right now. So that we have to gather in the manna, the blessing that is happening right now, even when it comes in a form that we didn't ask for, or didn't expect. So to say yes to God's love, and to be able to say, "Oh, I love you too." So I want to ask you, as you chant, can you pour into your voice that sense of, oh, I love you too. I receive your love through this world, and I love you, and I love you too. I love you, John. I love you too, everybody. So. Wait a minute, let's just go say the word. Tzam'ah Nafshi.
Tzam'ah Nafshi.
L'Elohim L'el Chai.
L'Elohim L'el Chai.
So sometimes as you do it, you might just even you work from like a memory. Sometimes intention is built on a memory. Like, oh yeah, I remember not the particular God, but the feeling that it gave me, that feeling of aliveness and of encounter. So sometimes I'll go back in and feel this memory in my body of that encounter with the living God. And then it kind of opens up that longing that's going to move me towards that, aim me towards that experience. Now, Tzam'ah Nafshi L'Elohim El Chai.
Tzam'ah
Nafshi L'Elohim El Chai. Tzam'ah Nafshi L'Elohim El Chai. Tzam'ah Nafshi L'Elohim El Chai. Tzam'ah Nafshi L'Elohim El Chai. Tzam'ah Nafshi L'Elohim El Chai. Tzam'ah Nafshi L'Elohim El Chai. Tzam'ah Nafshi L'Elohim El Chai. Tzam'ah Nafshi L'Elohim El Chai. Tzam'ah Nafshi L'Elohim El Chai. Tzam'ah Nafshi L'Elohim El Chai. Tzam'ah Nafshi L'Elohim El Chai. Tzam'ah Nafshi L'Elohim El Chai. Tzam'ah Nafshi L'Elohim El Chai. Tzam'ah Nafshi L'Elohim El Chai. Tzam'ah Nafshi L'Elohim El Chai. Tzam'ah Nafshi L'Elohim El Chai. Tzam'ah Nafshi L'Elohim El Chai. Tzam'ah Nafshi L'Elohim El Chai. Tzam'ah Nafshi L'Elohim El Chai. Tzam'ah Nafshi L'Elohim El Chai. Tzam'ah Nafshi L'Elohim El Chai. Tzam'ah Nafshi L'Elohim El Chai. Tzam'ah Nafshi L'Elohim El Chai. Tzam'ah Nafshi L'Elohim El Chai. Tzam'ah Nafshi L'Elohim El Chai. Tzam'ah Nafshi L'Elohim El Chai. Tzam'ah Nafshi L'Elohim El Chai. Tzam'ah Nafshi L'Elohim El Chai. Tzam'ah Nafshi L'Elohim El Chai. Tzam'ah Nafshi L'Elohim El Chai. Tzam'ah Nafshi L'Elohim El Chai. Tzam'ah Nafshi L'Elohim El Chai. Tzam'ah Nafshi L'Elohim El Chai. Tzam'ah Tzam'ah nafshi l'Elohim Elchai. 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 Let's take a couple minutes just to feel that energy moving in us and moving us. And feel in that reverberation the sense of saying yes. And saying, yes, I love you too. That I long to experience the essence of our existence and not just the surface of it. So just breathe into that energy, see if you can let it expand within you. So I always come back to this teaching from Jean Houston and the search for the beloved, where she describes this whole enterprise that we're involved in. And she says the search for the beloved is the lure of human becoming. As you allow the beloved to grow within you, you will discover a steadfastness to the spiritual journey that comes your way in the most remarkable fashion. It will seem that you have been clearly put on a journey of transformation that provides for a deep maturation of the psyche and access to the potentials of your own being. So that it feels like this is the moment where we need access to the potentials of our own being. You know, that there's kind of like this hurricane that is both literally and figuratively blowing, and it calls on both our resilience and our wide perspective. And I think that it's that sense of wide perspective, or like wide context for the, for this moment, that can kind of carry us through, so that we don't lose access, and I think the tragedy that happens is that when we get startled, when we get triggered, all the blood goes to our
Leaves the forebrain.
and we don't have access to all of these capacities of the prefrontal cortex, which have to do with compassion and wide perspective. And so we always, like, in the midst of it, have to just sort of remember to calm down, to calm ourselves down, and open up to that wide perspective. So I wanted to bring a practice that might help us do just that. And the practice is from a prophet. His name is Habakuk. Habakuk.
Cool.
Who I don't know so well, but this one phrase of his just feels like it's helping me to rise up to this wider perspective that I need right now. And it says, bamotai, yadrichayni. So, which means, he prepares a path for me upon the high places. So that it's like he's sending me beyond my little narrow place of being kind of triggered and startled, and lifting me up, because there is a pathway of those high places that will allow me to be able to navigate this time with love, really. So I thought this would be a really good practice for us now. And again, we want to tune into this, the power of this moment, which is that the new moon is happening in the morning. Then, this is the dark time of potential that is opening into the new moon, into the manifestation of Shekhinah. And it's also Samhain, this time of when the veils between the worlds are thin, and we have access not only to our own deep resources, but also the deep resources that are given to us through the spirits that can visit on this night. So take a moment first before we say, and it's just 3 words: Vi'al, bamotai,
bamotai,
yadrichayni.
yadrichayni.
So it's sort of knowing that the pathways are there for us, that we don't have to be lost in the, kind of mess of things, and in our own reactivity, we can rise above and have access to the potentials of our own being through that. So take a moment first before we chant, just to feel that potential within us, and then we're going to chant our way there. Vi'al bamotai yadrichayni, 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 bamotai yadrichayni bamotai with a lot of energy here. Bamotai, yadrichayni, bamotai, yadrichayni, bamotai, yadrichayni, bamotai, yadrichayni, bamotai, full voice expressing your willingness to go there. Bamotai, yadrichayni, 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 bamotai, yadrichayni. As you breathe into possibility, you can find yourself kind of lifting up into the wide perspective, receiving the blessings of all the spirits that are here tonight. Receiving the blessing of that potential just before the new moon, just pregnant with possibility, openness to miracle. So breathe into it. Allow it to breathe you. So each of us is called to love. Each of us is called to love in our own unique way, and each of us has like a part in this whole kind of orchestra of love. And the idea is like, will you show up? Will you step up? Will you hear the call to love, and will you respond with enthusiasm, with willingness, willingness even to make mistakes, even to not be so perfect, but to be able to show up in your fullness for this moment that is calling for love. I'm asking that of myself. Yes. Yeah. Can we say yes? Can we say yes? So there's one more practice that I felt like, in this kind of pivotal moment that is needed, and that is like a question that the prophet Isaiah channels to each of us, and the question is like, oh, who shall I send, and who's going to go? Who's going to go? Who's going to run for us? Who's going to go for us? And in the text of Isaiah, that question has so much power that it calls forth from him this Hin'ni, which is just like, here I am, yadrichayni, send me. And so that's the point of this practice, is to be able to find that place in you that says, okay, here I am at this moment in history. Send me to do the work of love. Send me, to not be caught in the snares of, in the tangles. Send me to rise above, to do my little half-shekel part in the building of the Mishkan. Send me. So we begin with the question, and at the end of the chant, I just sort of stay with that answer for a little while here, so that we can feel in us that willingness to say to God, take me with you, take me into the wider soul place that is my inheritance. But here's the question, okay? Et mi eshlach, yelech lanu. 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 And here's the answer. Hin'ni shalacheni, Hin'ni shalacheni, Hin'ni shalacheni, Hin'ni shalacheni. Et mi eshlach, yelech lanu. 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 Et mi eshlach, shalacheni, Hin'ni shalacheni, Hin'ni shalacheni. Et mi eshlach, yelech lanu. Hin'ni shalacheni, Hin'ni shalacheni. Hin'ni shalacheni, et mi eshlach, yelech lanu. Hin'ni shalacheni, yelech lanu. Hin'ni shalacheni, et mi shalacheni, yelech lanu. Hin'ni shalacheni, Hin'ni shalacheni, Hin'ni shalacheni, Hin'ni shalacheni, Hin'ni shalacheni, Hin'ni shalacheni,
Hin'ni eshlach
yelech lanu.
Hin'ni eshlach
yelech lanu.
Hin'ni
So all of us are showing up, and I want to look around the KZOOM room so that when you know that when you're saying Hin'ni, send me, it's like, oh, all these other people are being sent with me here. I'm not doing this alone, but I'm going to do my little part in the work of love. So take a look around and see your partners in the work of love, and feel yourself strengthened, supported by our spiritual friendship with each other. Being able to see that that we're answering the call, the call to love, and phew. We really need each other.
Yes, this last week.
Yeah.
Oh, because next, love you too. Single show. Yeah, next week we'll be on the other side of one world or another.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, we hope.
So invite you to download the app, Love at the Center app, so that you can really be
available.
Using that as part of your journey. It's a tool that you can tune into when you're not KZOOMing. Lots of resources there. I keep adding more. So I'm going to stop.